Shout out to the digital fam. Good morning, LKN. We're live from the Peninsula Club this morning. We are very live. Hey, Mames, how are you?
I'm here too.
So this morning, a little chillier than maybe at least one of the crew thought, and you brought the jacket this year.
I brought the jacket. I forgot it last year. We did this last year. This is our second time being out here, but the 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Community Breakfast, and just so glad to be here again today. The beautiful the beautiful Peninsula Club here. Just looking over the golf course and the lake. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. The sun's coming up, so it's an absolutely beautiful day to be out here. I appreciate the Chamber, McIntosh Law Firm, having us come out this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the second year, like you said, for us to the 4th year for this breakfast, and it's the opportunity to support some local organizations as well, and there are actually dollars being raised. Bridge of Hearts and Cornelius Early Scholars. Those two
really great nonprofits in our area. We talk all the time about how many amazing nonprofits there are in this area, but having this breakfast go to those two, that money stays right here in the Lake Norman area. It helps children and families right here in our area. It's a really cool thing.
We're going to get to talk to Bob McIntosh. He came out here looking dapper this morning.
Looking dapper. Angel's looking great too from McIntosh. The whole crew is going to be here today. So
it's one of the events where you really kind of shine light on the community, and that's the fun part about it too. And it's a lot of people who do like to support the community throughout the year, and then they come together for this breakfast, kind of this end of year kind of gathering, if you would, just to reflect on everything that everybody's grateful for. It's that time of year in general, right?
Oh, yeah.
And grateful for the government shutdown not actually continuing on as those SNAP benefits were getting close. But the community really rallied here locally, and with Ada Jenkins Center and the food pantry, for those who were concerned that the SNAP and WIC benefits were going to end. From what I hear, it's overflowing over there at this point.
Yeah, but McIntosh Law Firm is still doing a community food drive. Started yesterday through the 21st. You can drop off items, grocery, drugstore gift cards. That's one I wouldn't think about, though, but that's something that's definitely needed. People picking up their prescriptions or medication. And you can drop it off at McIntosh Law Firm. They're located in the historic Davidson Cotton Mill in Davidson. So you can head over there. They have a QR code on their website, and it's on the Chamber's website. It's on McIntosh Law's website, and we'll add it to social media as well. So you can scan it and just see what the list of needs are.
Grateful that the percentage we don't see as high as some areas, but there are people with food insecurity in the area. And so making sure that those of the community who can help take care of and support do, and we see that time and time again consistently, and this being one of those events here today at the breakfast, as well as this food drive, the opportunity to showcase what it's like to come together as a group, as a unit, and support each other, and that's what it's all about. So Sorry, I'm shouting at Bill a little bit there.
No, glad we're able to help support that. Saw Bill Russell this morning too.
Yeah.
He's looking nice, so it's gonna be a great day out here, great morning out here.
Yeah, so. We're going to talk with Bob. We're going to talk with some other people.
We're talking with a lot of people today.
We're going to have a good time.
Bring them all in. There's going to be so many people coming.
It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be great.
Tuesday, so from what I hear, everything's okay on the streets, and that's a good thing. We like that. There was obviously the Border Patrol stuff going on here locally, too. I want to share with you. Joe Bruno put out this stat. I thought this one was interesting. A spokesperson for Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools says unofficial attendance data from today indicates that approximately 20,935 students were absent from school today. This accounts for approximately 15% of students enrolled in Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools.
Wow.
And so that was yesterday school data. I don't know what today is going to look like, but certainly one to track there. That's a large number.
That is a large number. That's kind of wild. So it just shows kind of some people are feeling scared, feeling afraid, and it may just be people that they don't even want to have to ask to have checks and stuff. They're just concerned and just worried about being out and about. So.
Well, and I think also to the point of the other side of the equation there of what are the accurate numbers of those who are legal and not illegal in a community. And that's certainly a question that is allowed to be asked. You can't say it's not. And so very interesting dynamic right now of time, but it's very real. When you see those kind of numbers, when we're talking about attendance of kids at school, that means parents intentionally keeping kids out for the most part. Maybe some of those kids are skipping school. I mean, not that kids skip school. That's not anything that any kid would really, I don't know anything about what
you don't know anybody who's ever done that before?
I've not ever even thought, oh, what's that over there? Good morning, LKN. 7:34. Happy Tuesday to you. A special Tuesday in the calendar year. This is the second time we've been here for this event, but it's the fourth annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving Breakfast, supporting local communities, actual nonprofits doing work in the area. Somebody who knows a little bit about it, Bob McIntosh of McIntosh Law Firm. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Doing just fine, Justin.
This chilly morning. This is kind of like, winter is here almost at this point. What do you think?
It's refreshing. That's absolutely the case.
It's brisk. Breakfast can be refreshing too.
Yes.
So for those who don't know about the Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Breakfast, what is this event all about?
Well, the Lake Norman Chamber Foundation is the charitable arm of the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce. And over the last few years, the Chamber Foundation Board got together and decided it was time that we did something of a fairly substantial nature to try to give back to the community. Our focus is on children, education, and so that's where our charities are usually selected. This year we've got Bridge of Hearts that does birthday celebrations and emergency packs for school kids, and we've got Cornelius Early Scholars that helps out with underprivileged children preschool, and so those are our two charities this year.
You play the country old guy very well on television, sir. I will tell you that. But I know that you are well educated. How important is education to the family, do you think, overall?
Education is the foundation of what's next. It's the foundation of what's good. Without education, we're just kind of bumping around out here. Hopefully, we're laying a good groundwork to get kids started well. And then if the kids are doing well, then that takes a lot of pressure off the parents and allows them to go do the things that they need to do to make their family successful. And then they can look and see, well, the next generation's in good hands. And that's really what we're all about, is that next generation.
We had a chance to meet Rick Ruffin, your newest member of the
Absolutely.
team.
Yes.
We met him this week. Phenomenal. You have a phenomenal team across the board, but you tell all of them that they have to get involved in the community. Do they push back on that at all for you as as a boss? You seem that's one rule that they all tell us consistently, that you make them do that.
Well, no, they don't push back, but sometimes they don't show up. So we have to lean on them just a little bit to get them here, especially if it's early. Some people don't like it early, some people don't like it late. And so we try to accommodate the various different tolerances people have to get them here. But yes, a hallmark of the firm is to be involved. We want to be involved and engaged with the community. That's where our clients come from. That's where if we have to go to court, that's where the clerks are, the jurors come from. And so we want to be engaged with the community so that they know we're here for more than just, what we can get out of it.
One of the big conversations over the past couple of weeks has been SNAP benefits, WIC benefits. That has been a huge conversation. The government shutdown, how those resources and dollars kind of flow into local communities. You guys also working right now with Ada Jenkins locally with the food pantry that's going on. Do you have any details on that you mind sharing?
Sure. Leah Trowbridge, one of our attorneys, is on the board at Ada Jenkins Center, and we're doing a food drive at the law firm this week. We've got a trailer sitting out front, and if you want to drop by and drop off some canned goods, non-perishables, we're going to get those over to Ada Jenkins sometime Friday or Saturday.
And the local community, most people wouldn't think, does Lake Norman have people who have food insecurity here?
Absolutely.
I think that's something that gets passed over a lot of times. They're like, well, you guys are in a more affluent area. Why would there be any need in your area? But there definitely is.
There's always a need. The question is, how do we respond to it? Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're trying to do. Fortunately, our area is not poverty-stricken. The majority of folks are not food insecure, but a lot of people are, and you never know who is. You never know who lost their job. You never know who's had an illness in the family. You never know who's had an untimely death. And these things, they visit themselves upon all of us at one time or another. And so just being part of the community, they live in a big house, but there might not be anything in the cabinet.
For the young families in the area too that are having children, that early education piece then too, there is a need. Even those daycare is not cheap in this area in general, for no matter the age of the
Daycare's not
child.
cheap anywhere. But,
No, that's right. Yeah.
But yes, and that's something that families struggle with, and that's one reason that the Lake Norman Chamber Foundation said this is something we need to support. The Lake Norman Y and so many of our local churches have preschool, and those programs are fabulous. Some of them, though, hard to afford. It might not be but $10, but if you ain't got but $5, you can't afford it.
And sending a kid to school prepared, right? That just changes their confidence, and it changes their trajectory too, as they grow.
Absolutely. If they show up ready to learn, if they show up with a good positive attitude, then it makes the whole process a lot easier, and it makes them want to come back because they're not getting beat up when you didn't do this, you didn't do that, where's your homework, why aren't your pants zipped, all this kind of stuff. The poor kid doesn't want to have to deal with that.
Right.
Yeah, you deal with a lot of people in the area. You do. What's it like coming together in a room like this and people show up? What's that like for you at this point in your career and everything you've gotten to do over the years?
Well, we talked about that just a little bit earlier. The room in there is getting full, and there's an awful lot of positive energy. And, we just want to take some time today to be thankful. That's really what today's all about, to be thankful and to give back. And I think that's the general attitude, is that people are just glad to be here, and beautiful day, beautiful area. Let's be grateful, let's give back.
Lake Norman Chamber Foundation. So this is the foundation arm. How long you've been involved with the foundation arm for a while? Can you give us any of the history on the foundation side?
Well, we started about, I guess it was about 12 years ago, and one of the local organizations donated some money into us, and we've done some things to help schools along, and sort of been there as a backstop to pick up on some programs and to help fund a few things in the local schools. But we really just didn't have a big push or a big purpose. Nobody really knew about the Chamber Foundation other than the people that were on the board. All the past board chairs are on the board of the Chamber Foundation, but there's only, I think, 6 or 8 of us that vote. So it's nobody really knew what we were doing or what we were about, and so we said, well, maybe we need to let some folks know. Maybe we need to be about something. Let's do something so people can know what we do.
And this is one of the unique things, because you do a lot of chamber events throughout the year. You know very well of the chamber, where you guys actually raise dollars for a local charity. So these two organizations, Bridge of Hearts and Cornelius Early Scholars, why those two? What was it that drew the board's attention to those two particular organizations?
One of our board members is on the board at Cornelius Early Scholars, and I'm on the board at Bridge of Hearts, and so we just kind of brought it there, and we didn't really have a true selection process. It's not like we had 12 people come in and present, and these were the 2 winners. It's just that the board was familiar with these, and both of them came and made presentations to us, and the board said, yeah, this is what we'd like to support this year. And we didn't pick. We picked 2 because we wanted to make a substantial difference. We didn't want to just, here's $150, go do what you can with it. We wanted to try to make a substantial difference in these organizations because they're both local and they're both grassroots, and they both need funding, and they make a big difference in the lives of these kids that they touch.
One of the things that my wife says I need to continue working on is listening. What's it like listening to all of these different voices of the community for you? Because, again, you touch so many different things. And so what's that like, hearing all the different voices?
It can be loud. It can be loud. It can be confusing. But usually if you sit there and listen, a common theme will emerge. A direction will present itself. And you just sort of have to say, yeah, this looks good. And the board looks at it, and we work together. It's a consensus decision, and eventually the path emerges.
We're talking with Bob McIntosh of McIntosh Law Firm, McIntoshLawFirm.com, located in Davidson. Whole team of people. We met Rick Ruffin, the newest attorney there. What's going on at McIntosh Law Firm? Does everyone just kind of take off for the holidays after this event, and then everybody see you in the new year?
In January.
Lord, no, they better have their families there. But our families are getting it done. This is the end of the year, and clients are wanting stuff done, and all the stuff that we didn't get done earlier that we should have gotten done, and all the stuff that's coming in that needs to be done. The clients expect that, and so we try to be there and get it done for them.
You've also got the food drive going on. So through this week, people can come and drop food off.
Up at the Davidson Cotton Mill.
Okay.
There's a black trailer sitting out there. It won't be manned per se, but just there's a rack kind of sitting over next to it. Just leave your food on the rack, and we'll get it put in the trailer and over to Ada Jenkins. We would appreciate your support.
All right, another opportunity to support the community. We are doing that today as well here at the Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving Breakfast, 4th annual. So Good morning, okay, and happy Tuesday to you. It's 7:47 on this Tuesday. We're celebrating the 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving breakfast. And one of the smoothest voices in radio
That's
joins
right.
us this morning, Joshua Doby of North Main Financial, located in Cornelius. He's a certified financial planner. Also, he's the best stock picker there ever was, right? Aren't you glad you came back? This is awesome.
Now I have to read you a whole list of
Yeah, he
disclosures.
just put his headphones down and walked back into breakfast.
It's good to see you, sir. The Lake Norman Chamber Foundation. I mean, this is the fun part, right, of doing things in the community, I would imagine, for you.
It really is. I mean, the foundation has an extended history of, as an arm of the Chamber of Commerce in supporting philanthropic kinds of endeavors here in the community, very intentionally so, as it's a nonprofit organization. So, yeah, this is fun. This is one of the marquee events during the year that allows for so many folks who are connected to the Chamber, but also for colleagues and friends and other folks as well who may not be as closely affiliated to get an idea a little bit, about what the Chamber does, and then specifically what the foundation does in supporting these groups.
And so today, Bridge of Hearts as well as Cornelius Early Scholars. I made the joke with Bob, and I'd do the same with you. You like to play the simple card that you don't know anything, which is phenomenal about you. Very humbling, but you're very
What's truthful here, but that's not true for Bob.
You're very smart. You're very educated. How much does early childhood education do you think matter in like the family equation?
I don't think you can overemphasize it, especially when you're looking at, let's just say, reasons why people move to a particular community. One of the first things that they do, whether they're anticipating a family or already have a family with young children, is they're looking at education opportunities. And that varies in so many ways in different areas, not only here in the region, but around the country. And so finding a place where there are those opportunities, and then specifically one where your child or children can fit in, it really is foundational. So the folks who are willing to step out, and specifically with Cornelius Early Scholars, who are willing to step out into a space where they saw a need, willing to commit time, willing to commit resources, willing to do the hard work. Very, very heavy lifting and that kind of thing. To make that a possibility is part of what makes this region rich.
It's not magic, right, to do it.
Right.
It's like, it's people. Are you surprised? Because most people think there's no need here, right, like in the Lake Norman area. That you just look around and say, you guys don't have any needs, what's going on? But there are people with these type of financial burdens, if you would, or can't meet the current demand of the market, if you would. What's it like from your perspective? Because you get to talk to a lot of people throughout the area. What's that like for you to see even a need?
Yeah, I think your description of the area, certainly from the outside looking in, I think it is one of the challenges that we face, because I think there is a perception that, Lake Norman region, suburbia kind of experience, everybody's doing fabulously well, and no kinds of struggles or needs. We have incredible need here, and we have incredible need not just in the Lake Norman region, in Cornelius specifically, where we happen to be sitting. And I think Cornelius Early Scholars are really hitting that right at the core. And it's not folks necessarily who are out of work or who don't have means of providing for themselves. Sometimes these are folks who are working full-time jobs, sometimes are working a couple, 3 different jobs, and still unable, especially with the high cost of living in this area, to make ends meet. And so to be very intentional about engaging in opportunities where folks have the opportunity for choice, and to be able to engage again with folks who are incredibly committed in this regard, I think again is part of what makes this region so nice.
What's it like? Like, are you you've got a couple of kids, so are you like penny pinch at home? Like, you've got your piggy bank, put your 20 cents in there for every dollar. How do you teach kids basically to be good stewards financially?
Well, I start out by charging my kids rent.
From day one, right?
They're 12 and 14 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
it's entirely time. Get a job, and there's no free lunch here. No, just but there is something very, very specifically in my professional experience when you can see folks who have had a good beginning in that regard. And to say it differently, it's much easier when you've had a good beginning to continue in a good habit than it is to break old habits and to start fresh. Not that you can't, but it is much easier.
Very
in
hard.
that
Oh,
regard. Yeah. So what I encourage folks to do when they're asking those kinds of questions is start small. Yeah, it does, and I joke about charging my kids rent. I probably wouldn't go over very well, especially with my wife, in doing that. But do the kinds of things where they can begin to understand what it means that things are expensive. If they want to go buy something at Walmart, well, there's a cost to that, and to have some kind of relationship of understanding, and say, okay, this costs $10. Okay, then you got to work X number of hours to have that $10 in order to go buy that. And then they start doing that value proposition, right? I really don't want to do anything, so I really don't need that thing that costs $10 off that much. So again, it's the simple things sometimes that I think can be most helpful, and you want to make it a little fun, and you want to make it engaging so that there is a desire on that young person's part to be engaged with it. Because once they get to high school, I used to say college, but once they get to the high school, they are bombarded, especially with all of these things that are in front of us here, with ads and other kinds of marketing, just blast to be able to understand what that means, and not just click buy and buy and buy and buy. So it's a big deal, but starting small we find to be most productive.
Is that, I love that. So North Main Financial, is that the slogan? Keep things simple. That's what it's all about.
That's primarily because of its founder and owner, because that's as far as it goes. But no, we quite seriously we do find that because it's easy for us, it's easy for any of us with the things that we do every day to look at complex things with a lot of comfort because we're doing it every day. But for any of us, it's important for us to understand that everybody outside of who's in that group, it probably is going to be challenging and complex. So to be aware of that, and we try to be very hyper aware of that as we're talking with folks about taking the complex, making it very simple, because again, coming back to the previous example, that tends to be how folks can engage over the long term.
All right, I haven't been able to talk to you for a couple of weeks. So what's going on? NVIDIA, is it still the love child? I've seen people short NVIDIA. Berkshire Hathaway makes a big bet on Google. What is going on out there?
It is, and NVIDIA coming out with earnings tomorrow, and folks talking about how that's the economic bellwether now in terms of what's happening. We give a lot of attention to it because it's the largest company by market capitalization, which, by the way, not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold NVIDIA.
Exactly.
Everybody should contact their own advisor, make their own decisions. But there tends to be a lot of focus on those kinds of things because they are the ones that are most in the news. But it's important to take a look at a broad swath. Take a look at things with which you agree. Take a look at things with which you disagree. Take a look at things that support your idea or thesis about what's happening, and especially pay attention to things that don't support it, so that you can get the best and broad understanding. Yeah, the markets are kind of bouncing up and down right now. There's no real movement with any kind of intentionality, either positive or negative. It'll be interesting to see what the Christmas retail season brings to us in terms of the strength of the consumer. That's going to be a big indicator. Federal Reserve has cut rates twice, may do again here in December. So as always, a lot of variables plugging into that right now. It's always interesting.
You got a lot of year-end things happening, right? It's the year-end giving time for companies,
Definitely.
but it's also like, health benefits is like in that weird time where you got to pick your plan for next year right now. How much of that is coming into the household conversation? Those kind of extra costs that you have to have, but you kind of don't really consider them day to day. You really just have to know that they're going to be there and plan for them as best you can.
No doubt about it. In this particular season, as you note, is open enrollment for a lot of folks for making decisions about health insurance and for dependent care benefits and even life insurance through the employer if that's offered through the employer. So a lot of folks giving attention to that right now. If it's not every day, it's very nearly every day that we're talking with somebody about that, primarily because, unfortunately, the way the costs continue to increase, and specifically with health insurance, and making those decisions about whether it's appropriate to have a more traditional plan or whether to have a high deductible plan with a health savings account or an HSA, and trying to balance that, because for just about everybody, we're trying to balance it within a budget. We're trying to balance it within a certain number of dollars, and so if we're spending more over here, then we're going to have to spend less over here in order to do that. Again, coming back to that cost benefit or that cost value aspect of things. It's very hard. It's very hard to do. It's very hard to, I shouldn't say that. It's very hard to do well because the landscape's always changing. And certainly this year is no different, especially as we're seeing such large increases pretty much across the board for everybody on the health insurance end of things.
The Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving Breakfast is the 4th annual. It's for helping provide support to families that need it in the local community. If you get started early enough, does that change things later on down the road? Especially like, hey, I'd like to retire one day. That'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
Does looking at it early on, does that matter at all in the equation?
It really does. There's a chart out there, and I have it stashed away among a very large stack of binders and other kinds of things from 30 or 40 years ago, but stuffed in there somewhere is a chart that shows if you are a saver, starting when you're 22 years old with $100 a month and then stopping 10 years later at 32, and having someone who starts at age 32 and saves $100 a month. The way the math works out with compounding, actually the person who starts later never catches up to the person even who started at 22,
Wow.
even though they stopped after 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's just the benefit of having that 10-year head start. It doesn't mean if you start later that it's bad or wrong, but there is something that is mathematically true because we're all dealing with our own life expectancy. That starting earlier, even small, we talk about that all the time. Doesn't have to be a king's ransom, but starting just with some intentionality early can have huge benefits down the road. And we're talking about that a lot with folks with their children and grandchildren about how important that can be for them as well.
It's wild. The education of it is just knowing like deadlines and like, hey,
So
check this box and make sure this paper's in,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
But have you ever had to have the conversation where the person made the choice of, oh, I meant to call you last week, I didn't, and it's like, oh, sorry, the deadline passed? Like, that's got to be devastating.
Happens all the time, and we try to, from our standpoint, try to be very intentional about letting folks know what those are and where they are. But it does happen, or folks, they'll call right now and say, "I'll get back to you," and then 6 months or 12 months later,
Oh,
back,
gosh.
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I'm still thinking of you." I said, well, "We're thinking of you too." So whenever you're ready to move forward, but it's real. I mean, people are busy, and there are a lot of competing priorities. We're hustling, we're raising kids, life is happening. So this happens to be one thing. Usually, what happens, unfortunately, is kids get older, get through college, and then they start looking at things. Say, "Oh, I'm 55 years old, and I'd like to retire at some point." Well, good. Let's figure out how
Yeah.
we can make that happen. But starting earlier mathematically is always more helpful.
We're talking with Joshua Adobe of North Main Financial, located in Cornelius. How's that roundabout coming? Right there where Cornelius and Davidson
My
come
front
together.
yard.
Yes.
Yeah, literally my front yard. It's as I've said for the last 6 years, it's a work in progress, and so there are a lot of holes that get dug, and then they get refilled, and then they get dug again and refilled. So just like so many folks in Cornelius and the Lake Norman region, we're experiencing the growth pains that have to do with improvements to the infrastructure. So it's unpleasant. We got a lot of red dust right now, but I think it'll be better for traffic flow through there. So.
The orange cone is our
So-
regional flower.
It so is. I think I have about 8 or 10 in my front yard, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's part of it, but I'll be thankful once it's all done eventually. So,
Joshua Adobe of North Main Financial here at the 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving breakfast, supporting Bridge of Hearts as well as Cornelius Early Scholars, doing some wonderful work in the local community. Joshua, thanks for stopping by this morning.
always good to be with
Yeah.
you.
Check out his stock picks too; they're pretty good.
Oh my God.
Good morning, LKN. 8:07. Happy Tuesday to you. We're hanging out today at the 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving breakfast. None other than Bill Russell, president of the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, joins us this morning. How are you, sir?
Where's the Superman theme?
Yeah.
Your normal introduction. That's right. This is the foundation's annual event. For those that don't know, the Lake Norman Chamber Foundation, what's the difference of the foundation as compared to the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce?
Well, the Chamber of Commerce is a 501c6, which means we're a non-for-profit, but we can advocate for our members. And so the foundation was the arm that we created back in 2008 as the philanthropic arm of the Chamber of Commerce. Excuse me. And it's just a charity. So it can't advocate, but it is something that we use to go out there and support educational institutions, workforce development, things of that nature. So again, it's the 501c3 arm of the Chamber of Commerce. It's composed of mostly the past chairs. So the board is composed of the past chairs, and all past chairs of the chamber are ex officio members of the board of directors.
Most of the people we've talked to this morning have said this is the fun event of the year, is the way that the way they describe
This is
it.
the chamber.
Why it's amazing to see the support in the local community. You've been doing this for
Absolutely.
30 years. What's it like from your perspective?
Well, this is a very generous community anyway, but this is an opportunity to give back to two great organizations, the Cornelius Early Scholars Program and Bridge of Hearts. Last year, we made contributions to Cornelius Early Scholars and the Lake Norman YMCA pre and after school program. But this is a way that we can give back to the community, and these are targeting families. And so if Mamie's got some kids at home and she needs to go to work, we're targeting that. So these are the future leaders of our community, but right now we're helping parents get through the day and make sure that they're the place to take the toddlers.
Need in the community. Most people would probably be surprised to hear that Lake Norman has a need. What's your thoughts on that, having seen this again being the 4th annual? Does need exist in the Lake Norman area?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yes, we're a very wealthy community, but there are pockets of poverty throughout Lake Norman, and people who are needing a helping hand. They don't need a hand up as much as a hand out as much as a hand up, to make sure that they have an opportunity to overcome their challenges. And so, yes, and we've got a very generous community here that continually reaches out. I mean, you see organizations like the Ada Jenkins Center and Bridges of Heart and the Hope House that are continually funded by the generosity of businesses within this community.
You mentioned Ada Jenkins. There's also the food drive stuff going on right now, too. I mean, came pretty close for SNAP and WIC and all that. What were some of those conversations like with nonprofits? Because you have relationships with a lot of them, too.
Yeah, they were very concerned. I mean, they did not know how long that the government shutdown was going to go on, and they were right at that window that everything was going to be cut off. And,
Talk about bringing it to the line, right
right to the line. So they were making preparations because they did not want families to go hungry. And again, I'm glad that they were able to overcome that and get some of the Democratic senators and House members to support the continuing resolution.
And so now for the local community goes, but still there being a need. 30 years doing this. Is this your favorite event too, like everyone else is saying it is of the year, or what do you think?
Every event's my favorite.
That's right. All 365.
So I'm very excited about that. Anytime we break ground on a business or cut a ribbon, that's just exciting. So we've got that taking place today. Later on the day, the U-Turns House and Store. I'm the chairman of that board, and we got a board meeting today. Talk about the activities going on with that. But the Chamber of Commerce, it doesn't stop. I mean, we don't wind down at the year and say, okay, now we can take a break, because we continually, there's going to be programs just this coming Thursday. We have a business after hours at Home Trust Bank. Friday is the Focus Friday for the Chamber of Commerce, where we're going to be talking about wire fraud and things related to the commercial real estate industry. So it never stops at the Chamber of Commerce. So every event that we have is a fun event.
Two other people who have sat with us this morning, Bob McIntosh of McIntosh Law Firm, Joshua Adobe of North Main Financial. I put it in the similar category of you like to play dumb, you play the country card very, very well, but you are an educated man, you love to read, you love to learn history and all those kinds of things. Early education in the home. Do you find that matters at all as far as the family goes?
And absolutely. I mean, I think that's where education has to start, is within the home. And I think that's why we've had some of the problems that we've had is we've gotten away from that. And, when I grew up, everything centered around the dinner table. And now there's a lot of families that don't have conversations around the dinner table. People are taking their TV trays into the den or living room. We need to get back to that, because I think that is exactly where education must start, is at the house.
And to do it on a local level here. But these are some people in the room here that maybe they don't come to every chamber event, but these are kind of people that want to support the community pretty deeply. What's it like for you to be able to work with people? Because that's really what it's about, right, at the end of the day, for the community. Again, you touch a lot of different people in the week. What's that like for you?
Well, again, you walk through this room in here, and these are the movers and shakers of the community. But there are people who support a lot of the charities and organizations that make our community go. So, yes, you have the businesses here, but you have a lot of the folks who are supporting the charities that are taking care of people who again, need that helping hand.
You got this time of year as well where you got to do your open enrollment on your personal side. You got your year end on your business side. You got kind of a lot of transition happening this year. What's going on for the chamber through the rest of the year now after the breakfast?
Well, again, I'm really looking forward to some of the networking events that we've got going on. One of the bigger networking events of the year is the McIntosh Law Firm that they partner with Rick House Tavern and David Hedges, and that'll be a huge event. We typically have like 300 people come out to an after hours, but there'll be a lot of networking events throughout the year. And then we're gearing up for our AI conference. The AI conference, Artificial Intelligence, is going to be here. I think it's February 25th, so it's right around the corner. We're already planning for that, already locking down the speakers and the sponsors, and then the annual meeting taking place in March. So again, a lot of events that we're planning for the Chamber of Commerce in 2 or 3 months, and it's going to be fantastic. The AI conference last year was absolutely awesome. We continually have great feedback about it, and how some of the information they received, they put back into play with their particular business. And so looking forward to those.
All right, so we'll preview today a little bit. You got Town Talk lined up for tomorrow at all? What you got cooking on the show?
We have the ladies that take place, the second Saturday divorce program that's held at the Chamber of Commerce. They're coming in. So Eileen Stoner and a couple of her folks talking about that. Again, that's something that Mamie, Justin, and I can't participate in. It's female only.
It is a great event, though. So Eileen Stoner, her group, and all the ladies in that networking group is a great group. So looking forward to that episode tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bill Russell, president of the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce. He's also host of Town Talk every Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. We've been hanging out today at the 4th Annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving Breakfast, supporting Bridge of Hearts as well as Cornelius Early Scholars, early childhood education. Bill, thank you so much for letting us be here.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Mamie.
Good morning, LKN. Happy Tuesday to you. We're hanging out at the 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving Breakfast. It's an opportunity to support some local organizations, some local nonprofits, Bridge of Hearts, as well as Cornelius Early Scholars. Somebody who understands and knows the local community very well, Jack Salzman. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Thanks for coming and
Thanks for
hanging out.
joining us. Yeah, I went and just grabbed you from the table while you were eating breakfast.
Oh,
and
you did? I was wondering why you came out here.
No, I
way
just
that
came
he
and
did
grabbed
this
him,
on his
yeah.
own.
I
Yeah.
just want to make sure I wasn't going to get in trouble when I went back in.
Sir, so you've had a quite the career here in the Lake Norman area. How do you look at this area? Like, what goes through your mind when you think about Lake Norman?
I just think it's a great region. I mean, the whole community from Mooresville, exit 36 to exit 23, just that whole region. I think it's one of the best regions in the country. And it was perfect for us. We loved coming here. We didn't know a soul. Moved here, got entrenched into the community, and I think that really was a difference. The people here are amazing. And if somebody comes in here and gives back to the community will give back to that person as well.
You did over the 20 years you guys owned Lake Norman Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram?
Yep.
Yeah, so over 20 years you guys gave back all the time to the community. Now even with the serve you do, and you've got the Giving with Grace Foundation now. What's that been like to be able to just dive in headfirst to just support wherever there's needs at?
Well, we just made it a part of our foundation from when we started, selling cars. We sold over 100,000 cars while we were at Lake Norman.
Wow.
And what that did was allow us to give back in a big way. And that's why we started our family foundation. On the board are our kids and our grandkids. The first Friday in December, we have our Giving with Grace gifting luncheon. And it's amazing. So we had over 100 grant requests this year, and we send them out to our kids and our grandkids that are over 10 years old that are on our board, and they pick the winners. And there's 10 winners, and we give $25,000 to each winner, each charitable organization. But what the amazing thing is, the kids and the grandkids, they have to give us their why they're picking that organization. And you get to see a little insight into how their minds work, on why they want to give back. The younger girls that are 10, 12, 14, 15, they go right towards those women organizations. Some of the other ones, a little bit, they go right to the animal welfare. I mean, it's just interesting. And Rob and I always, just marvel at how they think and why they want to give back to those organizations.
I could imagine Grandpa Jack getting the
Right.
easels set up. Okay, let's do the presentations. Let's get them in. But for you guys to be able to be here in the room, early education, do you think that matters in the family scheme of things at all?
100%. I truly believe that our kids, you always wonder as a parent, are your kids watching or listening? And I know they were watching and listening because we've been giving back for 20 years, or more than that. But, since we've been here. And they absolutely watched.
You've got the serve now, pickleball and kitchen here in Cornelius now, finding even more ways to give back. You guys give discounts to firefighters and
Yes.
those people in the community and things like that. What's it been like now starting the new venture? How you feeling about it?
Well, going back to work was a little tough, but once I got past that, it's been great. The community's been great, welcoming us with open arms. We're there every day. Robin and I see people that we know, and the response has been amazing. The food is unbelievable. Our chef Carlos, is great.
It's good food.
Yeah,
Oh,
even
it's
if you don't
good.
play pickleball, you got to come for the
Oh,
food.
the food's fantastic, yeah.
And the dessert.
Oh, so good. Oh, my gosh, so
I had
good.
the-
You got the sampler, right? The
I got
dessert
the sampler,
was
and
good.
it's that you guys even have they're using the pistachio, and is it the Dubai
The
chocolate?
Dubai
or-
chocolate, yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. Everything was fantastic, though.
Thank you.
Do you like being a restaurateur now too? Like at this
No,
point?
I don't like working now. I had I was a retirement failure for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And the working part's a little tough, but the community loves it. We'll get it all set up so Rob and I don't have to be there every day, but that'll just take a little time, and we'll get that going and take it from there.
We're talking with Jack Salzman of the Serve Pickleball and Kitchen. We're here at the 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving Breakfast, supporting local nonprofits, two in particular today, raising dollars for Bridge of Hearts as well as the Cornelius Early Scholars. I think there's a perception that people think Lake Norman doesn't have needs, right?
Big needs here, big
And
needs.
so what's that been like for you, and what do you see on a day-to-day?
Well, Robin, number one, is in charge of our giving, and she always has been. It's just that's her nature is giving back. But we're involved in so many organizations. We've been on boards. but the need is just real. There's just need for food, for shelter, for everything in between.
And here in 2025, right, where food insecurity, housing, all of those things really being here, do you see, because you guys have continued not just 1 year, but year after year to stay involved, do you see these dollars impacting people in the community?
Yeah, well, I think you said it's the fourth year of this, and each year the room gets bigger and bigger. So the Chamber Foundation really doing a good job giving back, and we pick some really good charities, I think, year after year.
All right, so what are you doing for fun these days? You're working. That's obviously
working,
only so
yeah.
fun, but
Well,
what else?
my fun this weekend, our granddaughter in Dallas, her high school volleyball team's in state championship, so we're flying to Dallas on Friday to go watch her
Nice.
hopefully win a state championship. She'll be our second granddaughter to win a state championship. Our older granddaughter won one in soccer, so we're hoping that streak continues.
I'd love to just take a couple minutes to just kind of pick your brain since you're here. You stepped into the Thunderdome today, somehow made me convince
sorry,
you. So
I
I'll
talked
just-
you into
I'll
coming in
just-
here.
So when you look at the world right now, right, you got the markets moving the way they are, right, and see everything. I imagine you kind of look at things a little bit differently. What are you seeing when you see like kind of this global kind of shift just happening in like whether it's financial, business world, technology? Where's everything at for you?
Me personally, I just don't think that you can listen to all that, because if you watch one channel or listen to one channel, you hear one thing. If you're on the other channel and watch and listen, you hear that. I've always been a big believer somewhere in the middle is the truth, and that's where I've been in the center all my life. I haven't gotten too far crazy on one side or the other, and I think if you just kind of stay down the middle, you tend to stay out of trouble, and you can just focus on what's important to you.
What do you call it when you keep the ball in the middle on the pickleball
Oh,
court?
I'm still
'Cause
trying
is
to-
that
yeah.
Is that what you have to do is keep it in the middle?
My pickleball brain doesn't work because I can't get that vision of you out of my mind playing pickleball.
Playing in his sock feet.
Well, yeah, in a sock that had holes in them.
The fact that you let me step on your indoor courts with no shoes, I thought was pretty amazing there. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. Are people enjoying the indoor court? Because that's like a special court there at the Serve.
Yeah, so there's so many elements. So we do a lot of corporate events right now, which is there's no place in our region to have a great corporate event. And to have a corporate event where people can have fun, that's just a whole nother element that I think a lot of people are just absolutely loving. Our Top Golf Swing Suites, so not just for golf enthusiasts, but there are 30 other games you can play. So our families are just eating those swing suites up. And then the pickleball is just going gangbusters.
I did
as
the
well.
carnival one where I could set up the milk
Yes.
milk jugs
Yep.
and throw
Just
the
throw
ball.
the balls,
That was
yeah.
pretty sweet. That was awesome.
Yep.
And then for that gathering space, so if there is a business that wants to come and have an event there at the Surf, do you guys open up the space for that, for they can come rent space?
We just had a real estate company come in this past Tuesday, 65 people recognizing their top performers. They used the event space. They had a seated meal with filet mignon, and then they had 6 pickleball courts and 2 golf simulator swing suites.
Also, Panthers aren't doing too bad these days. Let's say I wanted to go have a drink somewhere. Am I able to do that at the Serve?
Great question. We had a lot of people this past Sunday. You know, we got 15 TVs in that place, and a lot of people watching the Panthers in that big overtime win. And the place definitely, you could hear a roar when they won.
Exciting in there for sure. Yeah. Great place to watch a game.
The outdoor courts there as well. Are those going to be closed like when it snows outside, or how does that work?
We're going to come up with some sort of polar bear promotion or something. We'll get people playing.
Yeah.
Because we just want them there because the food's amazing and there's so many other things to do.
The food's amazing, and that indoor-outdoor kind of element too with the bar and that big window that opens, so you can kind of – and, you know, we get 70-degree days in November sometimes too.
Yep.
You never know.
Absolutely.
We're at the end of the year here. We're at the Lake Norman Chamber 4th Annual Foundation Thanksgiving Breakfast, supporting local nonprofits, Cornelius Early Scholars, as well as Bridge of Hearts. What do you think about the year end, right? Because it's kind of this every transition of season for everybody. Does that matter in your world anymore, or what's it like for you, or is it just, hey, it's getting colder out?
Well, I mean, we're still in the car business in South Carolina and Houston, Texas. So, yeah, end of the year, last week, right after Thanksgiving is very big for us. And then, of course, December, especially for tax reasons, people wanting new cars and things like that.
Okay, Jack Salzman of the Serve Pickleball and Kitchen, wonderful local advocate, community supporter, have been for a long time. You and your wonderful wife, Robin, who have just done wonderful things. Giving with Grace Foundation. Now that is where you guys give the money out to other nonprofits in the local community. So thank you for continuing to be part of the community. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. absolutely. It's what we love to do.
And I'm going to go by the serve and take my shoes off again and get on
Okay.
that, get on them
Can we
courts.
just start
I think
a
there's a-
fundraiser? Can we
yeah, I
start
think there's a picture
fundraiser
of you.
and get him some shoes?
Yes, please. Just socks. We'll just get them some good socks.
We're hanging out at the Lake Norman Chamber 4th Annual Foundation Breakfast, Thanksgiving style, supporting local nonprofits. Thanks again, Jack.
Thank you.
Good morning, okay, and happy Tuesday to you. We're hanging out at the 4th Annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving Breakfast, supporting local nonprofits, two in particular raising dollars for today, Bridge of Hearts as well as Cornelius Early Scholars. The speech is taking place inside now with those nonprofits. Somebody who joins us here who's no stranger to the Lake Norman area by any stretch of the imagination, Trisha Sisson. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, doing
Have you? I don't know if you've been on the radio with us yet. Have you?
Yes, I have.
You
several
have.
times.
Well, I know you've been on Bill's show.
Bill's
a couple
show,
of
but
times.
you haven't been with us
I have
before.
not.
No, so
this is
It gets wilder, just believe it or not.
Oh,
so
that
it's,
sounds cool.
Don't
embarrass me.
You've been involved with the local community for a long time, both as an elected official in the business community, as just a public servant in general in the area. What's it been like for you and your family? Brian, you guys for what, 20, 30 years you guys have been here, right?
Yeah, we started in Huntersville, moved to Cornelius about 10 years ago, and been involved in the community all the way through. I served as the chair of the Lake Norman Charter School Board. Brian, at the same time, was on the Huntersville Town Commission as Mayor Pro Tem, and just always been involved in the community. Always been involved with the Lake Norman Chamber. I am a past chair of the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, and Brian is actually the current chair of the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce.
Early education or early childhood education, do you think that matters for families at all? Does it make a difference?
It absolutely does. It's been such a joy to watch from inception to where we are today with Cornelius Early Scholars, and I'll talk a little bit about that program because it is so close to my heart. To see how these kids come in and then graduate from our program ready for kindergarten. An opportunity that they wouldn't have without this program because their parents just don't have the means to send them to preschool. And so it's an all-scholarship preschool program. We serve the needs of the underserved in the Cornelius community. And these families are just so grateful. And it's been a need that David Judge, who is the director of the program, it was a calling from the Lord that he had to develop this program. He wanted to serve these kids because he had been speaking with the principal of Cornelius Elementary, and she said, hey, 1 in 4 kids are coming into kindergarten not ready for kindergarten. They don't know how to hold a pencil. They can't count to 20. And it was something that she felt really needed to happen in our community, but there was no one stepping up to take that charge, and he led the charge. He's the former pastor of First Baptist Church of Cornelius, and First Baptist Church was kind enough to loan us in the very first year their facility to have 2 classrooms. So we served 1 3-year-old and 1 4-year-old classroom, and then watched these 4-year-olds go into kindergarten. And we've watched them since then really thrive. And the presentation that David is doing inside right now has a number of students that graduated this program and how successful they are going through kindergarten and now into 1st grade. And so we're in our 3rd year of operation. We have 4 classrooms, and next year we hope to have a 5th classroom serving 2-year-olds to 4-year-olds. So really taking them through their preschool journey to make sure that they're ready for kindergarten.
Giving them a wonderful opportunity to succeed in life,
Absolutely.
No doubt about that. That need concept, there's definitely like a preconceived notion, if you would, that Lake Norman has no need. Would you agree or disagree with that?
You know, it's incredible. If you look at the socioeconomic makeup of our community, we not only have some of the wealthiest in all of Mecklenburg County, we also have some of the poorest. We have a spot in Cornelius that is literally the lowest on the socioeconomic scale. And that's where our kids are coming from. And some of our families don't have transportation. So they can't take their child down to public preschool because they don't have a car. They literally walk them across the street to First Baptist Church to take them to preschool every day.
What's it like? Because you've been chair of the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce. So to see the chamber and the foundation arm kind of work like this, and what's that feeling like for you?
You know, it just feels like the chamber really does so much to give back to the community. And now that I serve on the board of the Chamber Foundation, and the conversations that we have about the needs in our community, and narrowing it down to just 2 recipients each year is actually rather difficult because there is so much need in the community. And we are so blessed because we have so many people who live here who do want to give back, and you see them in that room. That room is completely jammed with people who want to give back, to who want to help our community really thrive, and it's just such a blessing.
We're talking with Tricia Sisson of the Range at Lake Norman as well, and Range at Ballantyne. Who's the bigger gun enthusiast, you or Brian, would you say?
Neither of us, to be honest. Every one of our employees, which is great, because they're the ones that have to sell and make sure that our customers have a really good time. No, we did not get into this because we're gun enthusiasts, believe it or not. We saw it as a business opportunity. Unfortunately, we did it at a time where everybody else saw it as a business opportunity, so we are oversaturated in our market with firearms facilities. But we do serve a need in the community, and we actually have the police departments across our North Mecklenburg community all qualify in our range, which is something that we feel gives back, because we make sure that the people that are responsible for the safety of all of us are actually qualified to make sure that we are safe in our community.
You've been a part of the past. You guys are clearly involved in the present and making sure that the community still continues to support each other. What's your thoughts on the future? Like, what do you think the future of Lake Norman kind of looks like if you dream about it on a big board going forward? What do you think?
Oh my, I have absolutely no idea. Lake Norman continues to grow, even though we don't have a lot of land left to develop. We're still seeing buildings go up, and so we're serving people that didn't grow up here. You're seeing a lot of migration right now from the north, and they're coming to Cornelius. They're coming to the Lake Norman area because we have this gorgeous body of water. We have all of these amenities, and we have a low tax rate. So we'd kind of like to keep it that way, and still make sure that we have the best community, we have the best amenities, and we are really a desired community to live in.
Part of that is definitely that support within that local community too.
Absolutely,
that's amazing. Yeah. The 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving breakfast, supporting Bridge of Hearts as well as Cornelius Early Scholars. So being now on the board of the foundation, everyone has told us today that this is their most fun event of the year. Do you agree with that for the chamber and the foundation kind of all together?
Absolutely, yes. No, this is we had a little bit of a blip during COVID, and we couldn't do this, and so we all gathered as, chamber representatives and board members, and said, okay, we got to bring this back. And so, being able to do this each year and support these charities, these really amazing giving organizations, is so important. And yes, it's just seeing that room full, completely sold out. It's amazing.
And it shows how much our community really does want to help the rest of the people in our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's it like for you to see all the people too together, right? Because that's really what it is at the end of the day, is people.
I know every one of these people in this room, which is just such a shock, right? No, it's great. It's like old home week. You're just hugging people and catching up on everything that everybody's been doing, and watching how they're thriving in their businesses and in their careers is just phenomenal.
We're hanging out with Tricia Sisson of the Range at Lake Norman and the Range at Ballantyne. She's also on the board of the Lake Norman Chamber Foundation, and that's where we're at this morning, the 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving breakfast, supporting Bridge of Hearts as well as Cornelius Early Scholars, supporting early childhood education and the needs of the local community. Tricia, thanks for all that you do and your family does. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Good morning, LKN 847. Happy Tuesday to you. It's a wonderful Tuesday. We're excited because we're at the 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving breakfast, supporting some wonderful local nonprofits. One of those, is it executive director? Is it chairman? Is it president? What do you call yourself there, Pastor Judge?
Chairman is the official title.
There you
Okay.
go. We're going to be official. The chairman of Cornelius Early Scholars joins us this morning. Pastor Judge, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
For those who don't know, Cornelius Early Scholars, how did this organization come about?
Well, honestly, it was an inspiration from the Lord. I was working as the pastor of First Baptist Church, Cornelius, and working with Cornelius Elementary School, when the principal told me one day that 1 out of 4 children who come to Cornelius Elementary are unprepared for kindergarten. And I asked her, what do you mean by that? And she said, well, they don't know the ABCs, they can't count to 20, they may have never held a book or had a book read to them, they can't handle a pencil or scissors properly, and many of them don't have the social, emotional awareness to be able to sit in a classroom and learn.
Wow, working in the local community now at this level with this nonprofit, and previously to that, right, being a pastor, you come across a wide variety of people. Early education, does it matter in the family at all? Does it change trajectories? Does it do anything?
Oh, it absolutely does. My family has benefited from going to my children went to preschool. Likely your children went to preschool, and most of us. But what we don't really know here in Cornelius so well is there is a pocket of poverty, particularly in the Old Town Cornelius side. A few years ago, I was on the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School Equity Committee, and we had a map of Mecklenburg County where we took all the neighborhoods and stratified them by socioeconomic levels, the highest, the middle, and the lowest. And up here in the Lake Norman region, as you would imagine, we are the highest, or the middle at least, in all areas except one, and that is in Old Town Cornelius. It is in the lowest socioeconomic level of all of Mecklenburg County. And the children who are coming from there are predominantly the ones who are unprepared for elementary school, for kindergarten, and they are lacking in preschool education. And it's not because the parents don't want them to have the education, they can't afford the education. And so the Lord laid it on my heart a few years ago to do something about it, and by God's grace, Cornelius Early Scholars was born.
And so Tricia Sisson was on a little bit earlier
Yes.
with us, and she mentioned to us too that, this being the 4th annual, right? But you guys as Cornelius Early Scholars, even however long you guys have been around, you're tracking like the kids and keeping up with them even after they leave you. What's that been like?
Yeah. So a couple of things there. We did get started. We incorporated in 2022. We opened our classroom in September 2023, so just 1 year later. Our first year, we had 2 classrooms with 16 kids. The next year, we added a 3rd classroom, 24 kids. This year, we have a 4th classroom. We have over 30 kids. And by God's grace, next year, we'll add another classroom, and we'll have anywhere up to 50 children. How we follow those children, first of all, when they come in, we test them. And then when they leave, we test them to make sure that we are being successful in getting them ready for kindergarten. Our graduating class last year had a 145% increase in their kindergarten readiness scores, so that was a big plus. But then we do follow them on into elementary school, and we stay in touch with the parents and the children to watch them progress. And going back to your earlier question about, does this really make a difference? It makes an absolute difference, because when these children come into the public school system and they don't have any sort of preschool education, they start out behind their peers. They get pushed through the system. They stay behind their peers throughout. Studies have shown if you get to the 3rd grade and you are not reading at 3rd grade reading level, it's over. The rest of your education, you will not succeed. And so consequently, when they don't succeed and they graduate high school, they don't do well in employment. They generally have criminal issues, and they don't break the cycle of poverty. And so a lot of this is about breaking that cycle of poverty through education, and it all begins when they're 2 and 3 years old.
God certainly works miracles today, even as he always has. It's not magic, though. It takes people, and he uses people to do it. What's the team like at Cornelius Early Scholars? Because I imagine, or is it you in there with the cue
just
cards,
you.
teaching everything?
You
or?
baby feast all those kids, right?
No, actually, I tell people that I do nothing but raise money. And Margie Nance is our director, and she has been a true gift from God. She had been in a preschool in Mooresville for about 10 years. She thought she was going to retire, and then she got the itch, and at that same time Cornelius Early Scholars was coming around, and she came to join us. She runs that entire program and manages the staff, and so that the staff makes it work. The board, as I said, our job is basically public relations and raising money. And it's funny because Dr. Mike Miltic is our secretary and manages the finances. And I always say he's the pessimist and I'm the optimist. Mike is, counting the pennies. I'm like, God will provide. God will provide, and God has provided. I mean, we were blessed in our first year to hit our fundraising goals, and every year we hit our fundraising goals, and it's because of the generosity of this community and organizations like the Lake Norman Chamber Foundation. It's just God at work, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
We're talking with Pastor David Judge of Cornelius Early Scholars. All right, you went in there, you did your speech. How'd you do up on the stage?
Well, you can ask them, and I think I did okay. They didn't throw any eggs or anything at me. So.
It's because that breakfast was so good they ate it all up.
They ate it
so
all up,
fast.
so maybe I was.
No, I'm sure you did great. Yeah, I just love your heart for the community too. It's something that we've talked about, off the radio too. But you really do have a heart for this community, and it's really special. And I think to see the need, and then to come up with a solution to fill that need, and not just for kids who maybe are 4 heading into kindergarten, but starting them at 2. Is that what your plan is for next year?
Well, actually, this year we added 2-year-olds, and so we have 2, 3, and 4-year-olds, and we are expanding and growing the number of classrooms, and so. There's a lot of need out there, and we're trying to fill that need.
It's been an interesting time, too, with the government shutdown. Like when you work with people every day on that socioeconomic scale where you don't know where your next meal is going to come from or education, you're trying to do that. But again, you've been doing this for years. This isn't new for you. You've clearly got a heart for it. So what is that like even when you think holistically beyond education? Because education is just a piece of it, too, for these folks.
Yeah. We were built on 3 pillars, which was academic excellence, which we achieve. Faith-based, obviously, it's a Christian preschool, and being an ordained minister, of course, that was most important to me. But from a practical perspective, you can educate someone, but if they don't have a good moral compass, what are they going to do with that education, right? And so we ingrain in them the love of Christ for them, and that he wants to have a personal relationship with them. So that's the faith-based pieces. And then the parental involvement, which is huge, because so many, by the time she was out of the preschool, she was speaking English, reading and writing English, singing songs in English. And so, again, if she went into the public school system, she would have had a much more difficult time.
It's wild, like even in the past, we'll say 5 years, it seems like. You look around the Lake Norman area and the diversity that really exists now. When you go out and about and you look around, so many different cultures, so many different... How do you process all that? I imagine you all have applications coming out your rears, if I had to guess, right, to come into the program.
Yeah, so it's interesting. In our first year, half of the applications were in Spanish. And a number of our families are immigrant families. They don't know the culture, they don't speak the language, but they value education. And that's one of the myths that I'm trying to dispel. When people think about people who are low income, they tend to think they don't value education. That's not true. They value education. They just don't have the means to achieve it for their children. And, we often talk about families where the first child to go to college, right? We're talking about children, the first child in the family to ever go to preschool. And for us, I would say preschool is kind of almost a given. Mm-hmm. But in these families, they want to get their child started out early and then succeed. And I'm waiting for the day. We had a young man, Nico, who's now 6. He's in first grade. I'm waiting for the day to watch him graduate high school, just to see how he progresses.
That adds me so much to the parents too, right? We talk about the kids and how we're setting them up for success, but the parents too, it has to be such a weight off of them to know that their kids are safe and taken care of and also learning at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a caring, nurturing atmosphere where they're learning not just the academics, but they're learning about the Lord. But we do the parental classes, I may have mentioned, where they come in. Last night we did it.
Okay.
Right? So Choplin's Restaurant, God bless them, provided food for 25 adults and 25 children.
That's right.
Wow.
It's like manna from heaven there.
Yeah.
It's pretty good,
it is. And so there's a number of restaurants that have helped us along the way. But every month we do these parental classes. Pharos Parenting out of Statesville comes down.
Wonderful organization.
Wonderful organization. They do the education classes. That's not our forte. And also UCBI Bank, they come in, they do financial wellness for the families, just to teach them basics about budgeting or whatever. One of the most appreciated classes was one on credit, where these folks who don't have credit or have bad credit, they want to know how to establish credit, maybe even buy a house someday. These people are living the American dream, but they just need assistance in getting there. And the barriers that they face are things that you and I just can't imagine.
It's awesome to hear you mention just even again that local help, right? You got local people that support, you've got local businesses that are supporting as well, other local nonprofits that you guys are able to partner with. So all around, obviously a great thing. Pastor Judge, so you've been here for a long time. You're looking at the future. What kind of it look like as you look forward? What's kind of the vision?
Oh, goodness. So my vision for Cornelius Early Scholars is to grow it. We'll probably outgrow our current location, which is First Baptist Church. So I have in mind where we're going to move to. When I first started the program, someone came to me and said, hey, would you like to make this a K-8 program? And I just tucked that in the back of my head, and by God's grace, that may be where it goes. The other thing that I really would like to see is this program duplicated in other communities, right? We have the roadmap on how to make this happen. And I have spoken with the Metro Atlanta Baptist Association, and I've told them, look, if any church out there wants to start a preschool, ask me. I will show you how to do it. We've done it all, and the Lord will bless it if you're faithful to Him.
Pastor David Judge of Cornelius Early Scholars, he's the chairman of it. One of the benefactors of today's event, the 4th annual Lake Norman Chamber Foundation Thanksgiving breakfast. Cornelius Early Scholars, along with Bridge of Hearts, the two benefactors from this morning. Thank you so much for all that you do for the community. Thank you for joining us this morning too.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you again to the Lake Norman Chamber Foundation and the Peninsula Club for having us this morning, broadcasting live. Patrick Reynolds up next with the Home Ad Show.